Let's be positive.
Nobody compete for the standardization, so it was very easy to agree.
Remember it.
This will always come with the competition.
In your opinion, what event was the key or a turning point in logistics during these 20 years?
Our subscribers will
understand what we mean.
Yeah, of course.
How can a container be transported across multiple countries just with one click? How has the logistic changed over the past 20 years? And how is it just one specific service revolutionizing the freight industry right now? We'll dive into all this and another questions with Dinar, the digital logistic expert with incredible experience. I'm Sofia. I'm also working in logistics. Don't forget to subscribe, give a like, and let's dive into this fascinating conversation. Let's get started. Hello, Dinar.
Hello, Sofia. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you here in the same country with me, because we are living in totally different countries right now. So my first question, what challenges were associated with organizing international logistics at the start of your career?
There are many challenges 20 years ago that were associated with organizing transportation processes. The key of them were lack of information and difficulties to get this information. Let's say to find the best route, to find providers for this route, to get their quotes, and to compile these quotes into multimodal service. These and other challenges like finding clients without available tools for the booking, for monitoring cargo during the transportation processes. Every step of logistics processes were associated with many challenges, and the core of these challenges was the lack of available and reliable information across supply chains. That was the core challenges if we take back into 20 years ago.
But why were freight operations so complicated in the past?
The core reason for such a huge complexity in operations, inefficient way of managing information. There are many, let's say, sub-problems for this huge issue. So information stored in disconnected silos within organization. They were hard to exchange information on the market seamlessly. So that was very difficult to exchange information, to spread information across the market, across your supply chains. So if, let's say, cargo transportation, let's say transport processes were seamless due to containerization, but information exchange and information flow across supply chains was very difficult, and this were the key reason why the operations, the organizing logistics was so difficult at that time.
Okay, but what were the initial steps taken to simplify logistics operations?
Well, initial steps were very simple. And
okay, that's the reason.
Yes, and people used to start from very simple and evident ways to increase efficiency of the process. At that time, companies deployed enterprise-centric IT solutions like ERP and let's say CRM and other systems. Some advanced and innovative companies try to implement, let's say, market-wise solutions, so-called load boats or marketplaces. It was very simple in terms of functionality and in terms of coverage, and I mean service coverage, for example. Yeah, we know that at that time companies, we were There were booking systems for ocean transportation, for example, or for trucking transportation, booking systems, or marketplace or load boats for the trucking transportation. People and companies, so again, implemented very simple, very fragmented IT solutions. That was the initial step for simplifying logistics with modern IT tools.
Okay, what was the most labor-intensive aspects of logistics 20 years ago?
Well, from my perspective, the most labor-intensive process was organizing multimodal transportation service at that time. So it took weeks or days, if not weeks, to organize, to create from the scratch multimodal freight services. For example, just to, let's say, to create a service from, let's say, Manila to, let's say, Munich, you need to define routes. You need to separate these routes into different freight legs. I mean, ocean leg, railway legs, trucking, pre-carriage, on-carriage. For every, let's say, leg, you need to find providers or subcontractors for your service. Take time, and in many cases, that was time-consuming, labor-intensive activities. You need to send requests to that companies and wait for them to, when they provide you with their quotes, and sometimes they were difficult to compare apple to apple because you need to compare apple to, let's say, pineapple or banana. So that was funny situation, but anyway, that also take time to make sure that you compare comparable solutions on the market. Yeah,
especially in different countries.
Yeah, different countries, different, let's say, from different providers. Even for the same transport mode, you sometimes got quotes that can be compared. So then you need to define these routes in terms of, let's say, best transit time, best value, best price, etc., etc. That was also took time for you to define, to understand. That was very difficult. And then you need to add your markup as a service provider, and then you need to find your clients for the newly created service. And that was the start of another nightmare. That was just the beginning. So, and this cycle repeated again and again, and it was every day and every week for the ordinary logistics expert. Funny picture at the time, and then some guy told that, well, logistics is not so stressful, and it's not so stressful work. And
then he woke up.
No. And the age of that guy was, let's say, 27-year-old, but the picture was the old man. So when you saw, it was very funny to see the let's say, the DNA of that of this industry at that time.
But how do you think, how has globalization created additional issues and, challenges probably?
Well, globalization is I would say that globalization is a child of containerization of this industry because the cost of transportation containers by sea dropped dramatically from, let's say, 1960s till nowadays. It's more than 2.7 times. While during this period, the world trade increased more than 14 times. And this make it happen due to containerization. It was very simple to organize cargo transportation due to containerization. So, but nowadays we see that the world take back from the globalization to some kind of limited isolations, and with so many trade barriers across countries, due to some, let's say, political situations, and due to the COVID-19 also made it difficult for the world trade. We can't see any important challenges associated with globalization, but the key challenge is that separating the world on different, let's say, makes additional barriers for trade, and that's why make additional barriers for logistics. Globalization don't come with challenges for logistics. It's a positive impact for logistics, the globalization itself, while the taking back from the globalization to separation, this is the challenge for logistics. How to organize efficiently logistics services, multimodal efficient services in a world that is separated. This is the key challenge.
Yeah, especially probably last 5 years seems like
that was a nightmare again.
It's going crazy.
In terms of trade barriers, in terms of political situations, and the situation is worsening.
Well, how do you think, what was the most difficult country which you needed to work with, and why?
Most difficult countries, they were those countries with poor economic development level, with poor IT coverage, and with unstable political situations. That was the general criteria for defining the difficult countries, and any combination of these criteria define that this country is difficult to work with in terms of organizing service, in terms of delivering goods through these countries. If, let's say, some kind of conflicts, regional conflicts in that country, this
still the same.
Yeah, and or if it's a peaceful country but with poor, let's say, economic development and poor information coverage, this also difficult to organize in the service, because sometimes you can be cheated by the local providers because it's normal from their cultural point of view. So that's why, from our perspective, these three criteria define which country is difficult. I wouldn't tell the names of these countries due to we would be so polite. But our subscribers will
understand what we mean.
Yeah, of course.
When the first IT technologies appear in logistics, and what were they?
20 years ago, that was a flourish of ERP systems within corporations with huge budgets, and that was the golden age for the ERP systems at that time. Yeah.
But they weren't constructed for logistics. And that was
they were constructed for logistics. If we're talking about, let's say, transportation management systems. Okay, they companies, huge companies, they tried to implement, and they implemented this transportation management system. Some of them, logistics and transportation companies, also implemented CRM systems. Yeah. They also have clients, so that's why they used in logistics to CRM. CRM. That was the
like a first.
That was like a first. It wasn't a first. It was just let's say, as I told, from the let's say camel stage to the modern situation. Information technologies used widely, but if we're talking about 20-year perspective, that was the ERP systems at that time, most of them.
Did these technologies impact the speed and efficiency of organizing transportation, and which problem were they solved with their help?
For sure, if companies spent money on that system, that was investments, and they were anticipated some improvement in operations, in business processes, and for sure they helped to improve business processes in terms of transportation, in terms of client management, within a particular company, within a particular corporate structure. That was their impact. But the key point is that the impact was limited by the boundaries of that companies. Because of the nature of these systems, they were enterprise-centric solutions. So they were focused on improving the processes of a particular company. While nowadays we work and live in a network economy, when sometimes more than 80% of a company efficiency comes outside of the boundaries of your company. So that's why this is the answer to your question in terms of the impact and the limit of this impact.
I totally agree about that the companies work not just inside your company, but work like it's a, let's say, almost artificial general intelligence, as you say.
Yes.
How do you think, how has the role of humans changed in these processes?
People started to collect logins and passwords in their in their profiles because the number of the systems that fragmented systems that try to solve particular processes increased every year. So that was
toilet paper with passwords with you. You have to keep your security.
Yeah, of course. This is the just fun part of answers to your question, but to take it seriously, well, the role of logistics gradually improved and make more efficient in terms of, let's say, information. They were empowered with the information, of course, with the information provided by that ERP systems and other IT systems that were implemented during that year. So the role of humans evaluated, they of course become more efficient, but with a limited efficiency.
In your opinion, what event was the key or a turning point in logistics during these 20 years?
Breakthrough made on adjacent markets, I mean taxi and Uber, hotels and Booking.com. They were, let's say, triggers for the transportation industry, and to see that technology is capable to transform the entire industry, given the examples of in other industries, or let's say in music industry, in media. At that time, we saw also dramatic changes. We think that was the turning point for the transportation and logistics to think seriously about a technology as a key driver for breakthrough within next years.
Did this event transform the market, and if yes, how?
At first, that event transformed the brains of the key decision makers at that market, but not the market. But that was enough for the transportation, because we saw
we are so slowly.
We saw so many attempts, so many startups, so many trials to create something that can change the transportation and logistics at that time. That was every provider, every company that know how to develop some kind of IT systems, they try to do this. And that period I would describe as a period of wild digitalization of transportation and logistics industry. There were many, they did know about any, let's say, general rules how to do this, because they were so impacted by the result achieved in taxi industry, in media industries.
So their imagination.
They were like, they were so inspired, so that they didn't think about, let's say, fundamentals that lays behind the transformation processes.
Are there any successful projects, nonetheless?
Yeah, for sure. There were successful projects. We saw successful digital freight forwarders that arose during that period. We saw real-time cargo monitoring systems that arrived during that time. For sure, booking systems for different freight modes also flourished at that time. And that period of, let's say, wild digitalization, that they resulted in some successful projects, as I said, in these areas. But again, their numbers were limited, so there were a few of them that succeeded. Many other digital solutions, they had to close at that time due to fundamentals that lays behind the digital transformation. We all know about that some huge ambitious projects initiated by well-known industry veterans and technology leaders, they closed, and due to lack of neutrality on the market. That was just one of the fundamental reasons that lays behind the successful digital transformation.
So do you think this was the main problem, which actually didn't help them to?
Well, if we're talking about neutrality for digital solution for the market, this is a necessary point that need to be matched for everyone who wants to scale their solution, their IT solution, for the whole industry, or even for different segments of that industry. This is an important and necessary point, but of course that was just one point, and there are another points that need to be achieved to make a successful solution on the industry. We are still waiting for the breakthrough, so that's why we will all together will learn what other features need to be met on the market in order to achieve this breakthrough. So let's wait and see.
Someone Losses can help us.
Yes.
We were talking about, let's say, successful solutions and what actually changed for cargo owners, for example, with these solutions.
We saw some kind of freight procurement IT systems arrived on the market, and they simplified the decision making for cargo owners in terms of selecting the best carriers, the best prices for their annual procurement process. Huge cargo owners or beneficial cargo owners, shippers or exporters, they have quite big budgets for the logistics, and every year they need to redefine their terms, their contracts in terms of which line they book, which price, and so-called rate procurement systems. They simplified the life of big shippers and exporters. This was not the only one, of course, and as I told, that real-time cargo monitoring systems, they make easier and less nervous life for shippers when they dispatch expensive cargo. So that was because they save their...
Unless there is a connection in the sea.
Yeah. Yeah. Some kind of, let's say, load boats and marketplaces in that countries, in that transportation modes, they also simplified the way of selecting providers. But again, that was a limited impact, but positive impact on the life of shippers.
How do you think, why is so difficult to find a universal solution for all countries? Because we were talking about marketplaces, and obviously this is like a local solution.
There are many reasons. Because nowadays the industry have to solve the different task. To make supply chains resilient across the world, we need to organize a seamless data flow across supply chains worldwide. The seamless data flow comes with standardization of the data and the ways how to treat this data within different systems. This issue comes with the requires IT system that will process this data, this standard data. When it comes with IT system, it's a huge temptation for providers of these IT systems to promote their IT systems, and they will have a huge temptation to make their IT systems as a standard for the IT systems on the market. And this will always come with the competition, because everybody will try to promote their own IT system. And that's why this will be a barrier for data standardization across the industry. Nobody wants to let their competitors to leapfrog them during this so-called standardization in data flow. We see this huge problem and huge, let's say, obstacle for simplification and for the seamless data flow across supply chains. And as you see that this is not a technical issue, this is an organizational issue. So it's very difficult to come together and to decide which is the standard of data, how to process this standard data, and then how to organize competition, how to compete. So this is these questions are the key that lays behind the slow digitalization of transportation and logistics nowadays.
But that's weird, because, for example, even huge companies can afford themselves to invest in any solutions, I suppose.
Yeah, and we know
the market.
We know examples that some huge company on the market, they invested in huge IT systems, developed their own IT systems, and tried to implement these IT systems on the whole market. They had market power, so they were presented in almost every country in the world. They could open any customs door in any country to negotiate in terms of using their IT systems as a standard. And they were backed, and this IT solution were backed by an IT leader in digitalization, but they closed. So that's why market power, huge money, and industry knowledge, they can't provide you with the success if you're not natural. Yeah, if that solution were natural, I bet they could become standard, digital standard for the whole industry. But they were not natural.
What unique features does Max model offer to address logistics challenges?
Well, Max Model is designed to make a seamless data flow across supply chains. This is the key idea that lays behind this technical solution. We started from standardization of locations, directions, routes, and freight rates. And we created a solution that is capable to seamlessly connect different providers across the world via routes and rates in a digital multimodal network. This is a backbone for the whole for improving all other processes within logistics and transportation industry.
How does Max Model transform the process of managing rates and supply chain?
Max Model is a solution that is capable to seamlessly connect freight rates of any providers across any routes into multimodal services. Seamlessly in clicks now and within seconds in the future, in the nearest future. And this opens unmatched potential for automation, supply chain management, and Max Model is capable to automate supply chain management as nobody else due to this feature, which is patented.
Remember it. Okay, how does Max Model surpass the existing solutions on the market or traditional mode of supply chain management?
Well, as traditional solutions, they are enterprise-centric solutions. They are most of them. So they decide the task of managing freight rates and supply chains within a particular company. That solutions has inefficiency in terms of the whole supply chains, because once you improve your part of supply chains, let's say suppliers or your clients, they probably don't have the same IT systems and the same, let's say, they have different processes. And so you are limited with existing solutions by the boundaries of your organization. That was the one part of, let's say, systems. And in addition to that, that enterprise-centric solutions, they are in many cases associated with manual management of freight rates. While there are another IT systems that provided fragmented freight rates management. For example, let's say BI systems, which support your decision making in terms of pricing by providing you with the information. But they are limited by the mode of transportation, by the coverage of regional coverage, and there are only limited IT systems that provide fragmented automation for rate management. Fragmented in terms of they can automatically create routes, but not freight rates, not freight services, or they can automatically, let's say, help you to procure freight rates on the market. But this is again a fragmented rate management, fragmented supply chain management. While the Max Model is positioned as a solution that is capable to seamlessly and automatically connect freight rates into multimodal services and automates your any updates of your freight rates within your multimodal freight services. So this is the key idea that helps Max Model to surpass all the existing solutions on the market.
Why do you think Max Model is a revolutionary solution, except what you said right now?
As I told at the beginning, nowadays it takes days to organize from the scratch multimodal freight service for, let's say, freight forwarder or multimodal integrator. With Max Model, you can do it in several clicks, and in the future you can do it in seconds. So just imagine how many time you will save for freight service management. Next, once you created your services, it's match clients to your services automatically. So this is also simplify your process of lead generation for your promoting your services. And last but not the least, Max Model automatically optimizes all your services in real time. So this is also breakthrough in terms of saving potential for your time, so that you can spend on more important tasks for your business. So Max Model save your time and money in supply chain management and in rate management.
Now, how does Max Model make processes more transparent for clients?
Some inefficient marketplace will leave the market with the expanding of Max Model, because there won't be any need for unnecessary middlemen in your supply chains. So unnecessary middlemen with some unnecessary markups for your costs in supply chains, they will be vanished with scaling of Max Model across the industry. So this is the key example of how Max Model can transform the market and make it more transparent for the clients.
But it's much more for cargo owners, right?
Well, for the cargo owners, yes, and for...
I mean, this is a profit for them to see this transparency, but what about you, the provider?
They will find more reliable contractors for their freight services. They will save time on creating freight services, and as well as they will save time on finding clients for their services. That was the value of Max Model for providers. No matter how big they are, Max Model is have value for both, for small providers and for big providers as well.
Yeah, but it seems like they don't need to hide anymore their prices. Let's say they quote then, because in that terms, when they get the time to get much more clients.
When you create a freight service in advance and make it transparent, make it available for your clients, and the Max Model makes it very easy for the clients to find, to search and find these services, it will save time for both sides, for the providers and for the clients, and it will lead to decreasing transactional costs on the market for the deals in transportation and logistics.
How will Max Model transform the market in the next 5 years? Let's be positive.
Yeah.
Very enthusiastic.
Yeah, we see that Max Model is capable to make data flow across supply chains seamless. We will see huge potential for real-time optimization of every transport operation, for every shipment across million routes across the world. And this opens unmatched potential for, let's say, ecology, unmatched potential for cost reduction, additional cost reduction. And what's more important, this opens unmatched potential for trade growth, international trade growth. So solutions like Max Model can change a revolution not just in the transportation and logistics industry, but help to further transform and help to increase international trade. That was a cumulative effect for solutions like Max Model. Again, we have example when containerization help not just to transform the entire transportation and logistics industry, but to transform international trade, adjacent industry. This is the very, let's say, surprising.
Nobody knew.
Yeah.
And expected this,
yes.
for sure. But what innovations in logistics can be expected with Max model? Do you want to spill the beans?
Let's keep it secret.
Okay, let's keep it secret. Okay. How does Max model adapt to potential market changes?
The first rule is you need to have a capability to adapt. And how? Well, it depends on the market changes on the market. But we are always working on this feature within our organizations. Everybody knows that survives. You do not to be strong to survive. You do not to be let's say wise to survive, and you need to be adaptive to survive. And this is the general rule for, let's say, from biology, and it can be exported to, let's say, to the business. And during the wild digitalization of this industry, we saw that many dinosaurs created by huge companies, well-known companies, they were strong, they had lots of money, market power, but they closed. So that's why in order to survive, you need to be adaptive. So that's why we are constantly working on this feature, and we do hope that we will survive and flourish. Not just survive, but flourish as a project in this very interesting and perspective industry as transportation and logistics.
That was my last question. Thank you very much for interview. And if you want to try Max model and find a reliable carrier and providers to transport your goods across any borders, head to our website, the link in the description. But I'm not saying goodbye just yet, because I'll share some of exciting information about logistics to the next video. You might already find it, some of them probably in our channel. So enjoy, and don't forget about like.